Hi, this is Dawn Connors at Mortgage One, and today we're going to be talking about 10 commandments, 10 things you don't want to do during your loan process. So when I meet with my clients, I usually have my clients read these, and when I met with them face to face, although I haven't lately because of Zoom and because of COVID, I will have my clients sign the bottom of them. And sometimes I have clients that will post these on their refrigerator, which I think is so awesome and precious. So before we get started, please like, share, and subscribe to this video because I really need to grow my YouTube channel, and I am so appreciative and motivated by your passion for me and your commitment to learning about your finances and having your life in good, solid financial shape. So let's get started. I'm going to be referencing this a lot, so I'll be kind of looking down, and we've got it on the screen for you so that we can walk through what things not to do and maybe just a little blurb on why. Like, why? Why is that? So rule number one, don't deposit cash into your account. That includes things like Cash App, Venmo, Cash Apps back and forth to other people. And here is why. All money coming into your account has to be reconciled or accounted for. And when you do Cash Apps or you deposit cash, it cannot be verified on the source of that money. And if it can be verified because it's from a friend who is reimbursing you for a trip that you paid for, then that money has to be taken out of your account or netted out of your account. So if you can keep that stuff to a minimal, then it makes it for an easier, smoother process, and we don't have to take that money out of your account as if it doesn't exist. So don't deposit cash into your account, and that includes things like Venmo, Cash App. Rule number two, do not buy a vehicle, release a vehicle, or take out a new vehicle loan without first talking to your loan officer. The reason for this is about 3 days before closing, we have to do what's called a soft credit pull. And we have to see if there's any credit inquiries on your credit. Even if you just went shopping for a vehicle and you didn't purchase it, then you have to explain that. So even doing inquiries, if you don't necessarily take out the new lease or the new vehicle, is not a great idea before talking to your loan officer. In some instances, if you're just at the shopping mode of a house, you can go ahead and release your vehicle or go ahead and purchase it. At the very least, you want to make sure that you make that plain to your loan officer so they can direct you on when to do it. Because earlier than later is oftentimes better, because if you get too fast into the loan process, it could delay your loan closing because we have to stop the loan process, get the lease added onto the credit report, and that could be a delay of game for your closing. Rule number three, do not have dispute remarks on your credit report. Something that a lot of credit agencies will do, I mean these credit repair agencies, is that they will encourage you to dispute everything on your credit, because if the creditor doesn't respond in 30 days, then it has to be taken off your credit report. So it's a way of trying to correct or improve your credit score. The problem with that is when you dispute an account, it takes that disputed item out of your algorithms for credit score calculations. So then what happens is those disputed items aren't reflective of your actual credit score. So lenders do not like that. They don't appreciate that, and they make you remove dispute remarks off your credit report. And that's something simple you can do. You would just call up all three bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, and say, I no longer wish to dispute this item. Please remove the dispute remarks off of my credit report. And within like 48 to 72 hours, they're typically removed, and you can see it on your credit report being taken off. Number four, please don't leave out things like child support that you might pay, or maybe you have an auto loan that is on your pay stub but doesn't show up on your credit report because it's an employer benefit, but it's something that you pay. You don't want to omit things that haven't been included. Like if you pay alimony or child support, you want to be full disclosure, because some things don't show up on your credit report, but they are payments that you pay, and that we'll discover it through various ways, like IRS payments. If you have an IRS payment agreement, we'll see that when we get your tax return, because we'll see that you owe $20,000, and we'll want proof that you pay that $20,000. And then you'll say, oh, I have an installment agreement and it carries a payment of $400 a month, and I got to include that in your debt to income ratio. So please remember to include all of your obligations that aren't necessarily involved on your credit report, because those will get discovered. Number 5, don't omit any debts or loans out of your application, which we talked about. Number 6, don't buy furniture before your closing and put it on credit. One time I had a client go into Art Van Furniture and then go into Gardner White, and he applied at Art Van, then he applied at Gardner White, and then he walked out of the store and said, and then he called me and he says, hey, I'm at the store buying furniture, is that okay? And I'm like, no, we're supposed to close next week. You don't want to do that. And he had already applied for credit cards in both of those places. So we had to explain it, write a letter of explanation, explain what he had done, and then say he didn't take out any new credit because he was talking to me, his loan officer, and thought better of that. So if you're going to buy furniture and you have enough money in your bank account, you can absolutely pay by debit card and have it taken out of your account directly, but you don't want to have high increases on your credit report because those get flagged too. If you have charges that exceed about 10% utilization ratios, then that gets flagged when we do that soft credit pull, and then we have to find out why is that and get a hard credit pull and see what the spike of your credit usage has the reason for it, and then put that on your application for your debt to income ratio. So that's rule number 6. Okay, so number 7, applying for credit or loan or using your credit excessively or not making your payments. You don't want to stop making your payments saying, well, I'm trying to save for a down payment for closing, so I'll skip making my car payment or that little tiny credit card payment that has a payment of $35 and have a 30-day late. Absolutely not, because your credit score will go down, and if we have to re-pull credit, we will see that, and you could be approved and then denied. I had that happen before to a client that I had to re-pull her credit report because it had aged out. And when I pulled it, her score was under 600, and she no longer qualified for that mortgage, for that same mortgage, like so close to closing. It was obnoxious. And she had stopped making payments on a couple things, thinking that she should save her money for the down payment and skip making those payments. It was terrible. So we ended up doing a rapid rescore. She paid off a couple things, and we were able to close about 3 weeks later. But it was a very scary time for her, for sure. Okay, I think we are on number 8. You don't want to change bank accounts during the loan process, especially after you have an offer accepted. So do not change bank accounts. If you are going to change bank accounts, or you want to, talk to your loan officer first to see if it's quick enough, early enough in the loan process, and they will show you, he or she will show you what you need to do to transfer that money from one bank account to another so that it's an even movement from one to the other. So don't change bank accounts without talking to your loan officer. Please, number 9, do not co-sign for anyone. I'm going to say that that's a no. That's an absolute no. Do not co-sign for anyone. If you co-sign, what happens is you become equally obligated for that debt. And until they've made that mortgage, that payment, that mortgage, that installment loan, that credit card for 12 months, that payment obligation is on you. So even if 2 months later they can prove that they've been making the payments, that payment is still on you. And if you make any of their payments for them, that payment will always be your responsibility. So please don't co-sign for anyone when you're looking to buy a house. And finally, number 10, this is an important one. Don't quit your job. Don't change jobs. Don't become self-employed without talking to your loan officer first. In some situations, you can change jobs and be just fine, but there's usually some requirements that you need to meet in order to change jobs. But definitely don't become self-employed, and please don't quit your job. I've had that happen on a few occasions where a person has lost their job or quit their job. Please disclose it, because 24 hours before closing, we have to verify that you're still employed at your job with a verbal verification of employment. So we have to, up until the day before closing, we have to make sure that you're still employed with the company. And if we find out that you're not, then it's a hard stop, and we have to figure out, well, did you quit? Do you have another job somewhere else? And then we have to get that employment verification, get that income calculations and all those documents, and it is definitely a hard stop until we can figure this out. So thank you for watching these 10 commandments, things you don't want to do. Please like, subscribe, share out this video. This is really important because this will help you have a very smooth and wonderful loan process, which is super helpful when you buy a house. Thank you for watching.